Now I went through and drilled holes. This is going to be the piece I'm going to put here. It's like a lens for something that I was making, like a gun or something. I think this was the smaller end and this was the bigger end. I'm going to put the bigger piece down on the base, on the bottom lower part, which this is upside down. So it'll go like that. So I drilled that to make sure this fits through. This one I wanted kind of snug. And then we'll have our power go all the way up through this, come through this, go through that, and then it'll come up through there and into the upper part of the saucer. This will be painted gold, and it'll have that little round thing with the chamfer, like it's supposed to have. We'll have that. Let's see, where's the original? It'll be like this part that they wanted you to put here, but instead of it only going that high, it's going to go all the way up through. So I had to make that part. Let's get some glue on there, and we can at least get this top little clear thing going on. And this is just to make sure the holes lined up. If I can do that, we're in a good spot. All right. And these came out really nice. These guys here. And what I think I'm going to do, this is towards the back where you have like the three lights back here or whatever these are. I think they're supposed to look like lights. Um, so I'm going to put this in the back, but I was going to have this facing forward. But then to see that, you're going to look through this post. So I think I might actually have it face backwards. So when you're looking from the back of the ship, it gives you something to look at in there. And then from the front, they'll have that same. And these, it doesn't really matter which goes where. We do the blue or the yellow, gold, I should say. It's the yellow, but it's kind of gold. And then from the front, you'll see those like that. But then when you look around the ship and you come around the back, you can see some more detail. Because I'm afraid when I have that there, you're going to be looking through, and that this coming up through will block a lot of that detail. So why not have it in the back? There's not nothing going on in the back of the ship. So that's what we'll do. I can do that, right? Yeah. Yeah, because those come way down. They're almost buried. I'm almost wondering if I might have a problem. I haven't really looked at it with these on. If I have my light, I might have to make something smaller. Because yeah, if I run it's now sits on this ring. If I chop that across, it's gonna cut through this. So I have to design something new. I just saw that. Yeah, I gotta do some thinking here. And I'm thinking maybe getting a clear part like this, so I can leave all this clear and have that on this same thing still on the inside. But it's got to also hide a bolt. It's gonna hide the post. So it might have to be a little bigger than this, which is fine. I can go fairly big. But I'll have to make it big enough and kind of hollow in order to hide the post and bolt, because it's going to be a hollow post and then it's going to have a nut clamp on that side, and I'll have an adjustable nut on the other side here. And then I can just paint this part silver, just this little circle like they did. I can just paint that silver, but then have a clear part that's hopefully the same size, even if it's like the size of this. Or I make a fancier plate here to cover this and make it silver. And just have the post hold all that. You know what I mean? That might be what I do. Get rid of this choppied up piece here. Sandwich that down. This on the other side. A little bigger, but maybe the size of this brim diameter. That, and have it hollow. It just has sidewalls, you know, almost like a dome. That way I can put that over top of the nut, the bolt, have a hole in the center for this to come through to send the wire up. I can make it a little taller. And if I can get two 3 millimeter bulbs in there, or maybe 3. Yeah, we'll figure this out. I got to brainstorm, but I think that's going to be the plan. So what I came up with is I'm going to make a big cap. It's actually finishing it up right now. And printing that and putting that down at the bottom. It'll fit kind of in between these two. Actually, I think it just finished. Yep. It'll fit down here in between the two. Clear plastic like this. And I hollowed it out so it should be able to fit it should be able to fit 4 bulbs. And I think I made it like 4 millimeters big, so it'll be about yay big, almost cover this whole bottom, this whole flat bottom. And I'm just gonna paint. And it's telling me the print's done. I'm just gonna paint this whole thing all the way up to here. It's just the only way to make it look, at least from the outside, when it's sitting there floating, kind of even with that top, having a top piece like this. To leave this all clear, I just think, I don't think I'm going to like it that way, to be honest. I mean, it's kind of nice to see these, but you would have no way to hide anything. And to make another little plate or just to paint a circle spot, the cover where, because we're going to draw a hole and then we're going to put this as a rod there. And then we can feed our wire up through. All right, here she is, hot off the printing press. Now, did I get this whole size right? Yeah, I got that one right. 3 millimeters works for that. So this will come up like that. And then we'll send this through. And this is how we'll get wire up to the top. So she's probably going to sit about like that. It doesn't really need much down here because this is actually really shallow. But then she'll sit like that. I'm going to chop all this off. I couldn't figure it out in CAD. But I want to keep some of it because it is stabilizing that the rod. But it's probably, like I said, it's only probably because these are just about to hit the bottom of the ship. So yeah, it's probably only going to sit like that. So that's going to be kind of neat. When you look in there, you'll see that kind of look. So that'll be neat. And then this will come up, and I think we got a little more room up top. You'll see the rod, but then it'll go up, and then we'll have this on the ceiling. Drill a hole in that, so that'll be on the other end. And of course, we have the detail part for in there. So cool. That's working. Actually, it's a little more simplistic than having to do the ring thing down the bottom, but that would have been cool. Sometimes you got to change your approach of what you were doing. And that was me not test fitting and seeing how everything fits and seeing what space I really did have. same size bit. There we go. Let's see if I can get this. Yep. That just had a better angle to it, or a point to it. Yeah, a little point, a little more pointier. Probably because it is for a Dremel / hand tool, so they know it. Those things are going to walk in your hands. And hopefully, we can use this to make it the right size. And it's only 3 bumps down, and that's good. Oh, see? It'll want to crack. Pushing too hard. I mean, we're still within where my washer will cover all that, so not a big deal. I might have to clean some of this out. There it is. Yeah, clear styrene is very, very brittle. Come back on this side and clean this side out. There we go. Perfect. A little twisting, but that's okay. And we gotta really clean this big window before we glue it all together, that's for sure. All right, yeah, so this is going to come up through. You see I got a little crack there, but I think my washer will cover all that, plus it's going to be silver. But my washer will probably cover all that. I wish, or no, I wish I actually had a nice brass washer. So we'll do that. Actually, let's do this correct way. Plus it gives us something to tighten against the nut on the inside. But usually you can just bottom it out if you can have this much rod up. I don't think we're going to be able to with the piece I made. So we'll probably have to adjust it. Because where is that piece that I just made? Oh, it's still on the end of this rod. Yeah. Oh, the nice thing is that piece almost goes all the way down. So we're going to have to back this guy down probably about like here. And just spin that up. And that can give us our height of how much comes through. It's actually starting to tighten itself up. And then I just got cheap, normal brass nuts for on the inside. But I got these nice showy ones. So when you look at the bottom of your ship or model, and up here, like I said, actually we don't even need that much. We don't even need enough. Yeah, that'll work. And then you can tighten that in there. There she is. And this will go over top, but I think that little growth down there, I was wondering if it would fit inside the hole. Almost. Enough that it'll hold it, but that's how that's going to go. And then hopefully we can get 3 or 4 lights in here. Something leaves enough room for for wires to come out of here, which I can even back that nipple down a little further, which probably wouldn't be a bad idea. And now that this is clear, I can see, oh, that's more than enough. That's perfect. So we don't need to clean that anymore. Can we get this still down through? Even if it bottoms out, that's okay because that gives me a good bottom out. Yeah, I'll leave that debris there, but it doesn't clog the hole. But that gives me a bottom for that to sit in when we glue that in. Perfect. Well, now I think we can actually start masking this off. Where's my pinstriping tape? All right. And it's hard to focus on an edge. Just let you go out like that. It's like you need light, but the light also gives you a glare. Well, I guess you could always check from the top. Yep. We got a good thing going on right there. Right there, we're a little far out. It's kind of like doing things backwards, but you can. I can actually see the edging then. So look up here. Looks like a little bit where I started. Still have to fix it all the way around there. That looks good. Many, 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 many little pieces. Well, I'll come back when we get all this masked up here. All right, there she is. And I did some alcohol in there to clean up any oils so that the paint will stick. That's what it looks like on the outside. So I am going to go paint that and then we'll mask up the other one. And I think what the other one we're going to do is do big paint pieces and then cut out the pillars. But this one's ready. Well, here's a quick look on how the silver looks, but here's what it looks like even more. Take that off. I wanted to make sure I didn't get blowout through there. On this side, that's going to look good. Yep. And I think I'll still do like a silver in this ring here. That'll hide most of that little crack. Yeah, that looks good. That's a good silver. It's got a lot of flake in it, and I like that. We're almost going to have to do something like this. I wonder if I can just follow that edge. I think cutting it would be better. I might put it a little bit up on the edge. I don't know if I leave this hit there Or I go across, I might go across this whole rim and block that. I think that's what I'm going to do. See, this is where it kind of stinks. I should just piece it together, which I don't like always doing, but it's going to be the only logical way to do this. There we go. What's that look like? I guess this is a good window. Yeah, that works. That's how we'll have to do it. Piece it one by one in a sense there. And the nice thing is they gave you a pretty good recess to get in there. So what I'm doing is just trying to point my blade right into the edge instead of straight down. There we go. I got many, many more to do. It's going to be quicker painting it than it is prepping it. All right, there we go. Make sure everything's. And we got to make sure these are the edges I want to make sure they're down. All right, but there it is. It's really funny right now, but let's go. Oh, I got to do those. I think what I can do here, if I even take one of these, I mean, I could go cut some out of vinyl, but I don't know if I had a sharp enough blade for doing it this way. It seems like as soon as you change, there we go. As soon as you change a blade, you always break that little tip off. I got some scrap pieces here that are working just fine. I'm glad they definitely made these recesses really deep, so it makes it real easy to cut all this stuff out. You got quite an edge to push your blade against, especially for the big windows. This isn't as deep, but there we go. Sweet. Now we're ready. Let's do this check again. All right, I'm gonna go paint. All right, let's see if this stuck. I try to lay it so I can just peel one way, and it pulls it all off when you do those little pieces. Shit, I should have started somewhere here. But I do have a little blowout there. I don't know how I'm going to get rid of that without causing the plastic to haze. Maybe alcohol will get it up. Yeah, I don't know that. That's some type of smudgy thing. It might be just tape residue, which might come off with a Windex. All right, now this, I'm trying to go slow. It's probably going to leave a residue. It could have been even where this touched, because this is more residue-y. That purple tape is not that bad. So I'm thinking it's this, and probably where I was placing it down, I might have touched there. This. Oh, that's giving us good edge, and it's not as I was worried about it being a little bit of a pain in the butt. But that came right off. There we go. That's what our bottom's going to look like. Let's see how the top went, because this is pretty fast drying paint. Hopefully I don't have any blow-throughs on this. That's what it looks like right now. This one's going to be a little more difficult because there's no real spot to start. Coming along nicely. I feel like there's still a couple more pieces that need to go in there. That came off. That looks nice. See, I have some of these. I guess we could do that. Wolverine. These are made from the studio files for Wolverine. ISO. Oh yeah. Got a lot of smudges to clean up on my fingers, but so I'm trying to touch it as little as possible. But some of the smudges come from it riding in the box. I don't remember it having any type of, or maybe it did. Maybe it did have a covering over it, like a little, but I don't think it did. I don't remember it having anything on it. And it just riding in a box, two big clear domes can rub on each other. Well, like I said, it doesn't take much to scratch styrene. There we go. Looks like a big hubcap. Basically what it does look like, a big hubcap, a domed hubcap. That way it really looks like a hubcap, and there's your lug points. But we do have to get those out of there. How am I going to do that? Maybe a toothpick. There we go. Yep. Push a corner. Pop it up. There we go. And that'll be for our lights. Sweet. Yep, that may even look more like a hubcap. And I should almost get a coat of paint on this, because then this will go down and that'll be all silver. I probably could make sure these edges are good, because that's where that big chunk. I'll have that little perfect plastic putty in there. That's where a sprue is really hung on there. The other three were fine. We have that on top. Yeah, I'm gonna like that. A different ship. I want something kind of fantasy, fictional, sci-fi, shiny. Very opposite of Star Wars. Like I said, looking through clear styrene that's in a dome, it's going to be kind of hard in there to see. I mean, I do have to clean a lot of smudges and fingerprints, but and then we got to get a hole in this top for this to come up through, and then glue this, because now this will actually get. Although that's a neat little piece there. I mean, I could glue that on top of that. That is, they do have a some type of detail there. And it already has a setup for a hole. Will this fit? Yes, it does. So no, we might not even have to do a detail piece up here. I think if we do that, I just got to drill that out so this slides up through. That's perfect. And then I'll hit that maybe with my chrome pen to make it really chrome. So if you can get up there and look, which I don't think you will be able to. So like I said, you got only this. The windows look big from this way, but when you're actually to see in there, you really only have that much you're looking through, like 2 centimeters. Because the distance from here and here in height is not much. It's a very shallow dome. All right. I just drilled a hole in the top here for this rod that we're running through the center of the ship. So now that goes through. That'll be great. So we can actually start detailing this. I was thinking about doing this a chrome, which I probably still could, but I might stay with the gold since this is going to be gold coming up, and then since on the console area, cockpit area here, since this is going to be gold and as it comes up and everything, so I think I might do that. Got some silver on the top. Painted the underside. I think that's dry now. I might be able to pick it up. And then hit some light blocking black on the inside because this was quite able to transmit light through. And since we're gonna have the LEDs up here, let's see if we can get a little gold going down. Check it out. Is this the 1 millimeter? Yeah. I wonder if I should use the bigger one. Well, at least want to use this for the sides because it's easier to draw with. The other one's a good wide tip on it. And it's still not getting the full color out. You gotta make sure these things are really mixed good, especially the gold. Just like gold paints, it'll have that black, clearish black liquid in it. Once it starts flowing, it's good. But I've had these for a while too. There we go. It's definitely an interesting thing to try to paint with. I guess it's really what you're doing. What I find with these is you want to keep moving to keep that nice flow so it hides your almost like brush strokes, but because it does start thickening up fairly quick. There we go. Let's see if that levels out. But that works. But there. I do that, get rid of the glare. It's hard with silver things. And then I'm going to go through and put those decals in. You don't need to see that. That's a simple, quick pour. And that'll give me my little diffusion and everything. I might even up here even just scuff a little and make that little scuff so it diffuses the light a little more. All right, let's decal this. Cut 4 of them off. We'll just soak them all once. Not going to be hard to get them in there. I know I have a Q-tip. Yeah. Come on. It's making me get a. Try to get it centered up. It's actually hard to squeeze some of the water out of there because it's in a hole. I saw that. It poked a hole through, but once it lays flat, we should be fine. Oh, yeah, that. I don't know if I can get it to. Yeah. You can see the light coming through, but you might not be able to see the color, but that'll work. It'll probably get washed out from the light bulb anyway. But, like, at least if it's off and you look up in there, you'll kind of see something going on. So there's no way around it. Might as well make it useful since this is a fictitious ship anyway. Yeah, like I don't know if this shape has any type of thing in doing with what people, when people first were seeing UFOs around, especially Area 51. I don't know if it has any. I mean, you see a picture. I think they even have it on the box. Or if you do any type of research on this model kit or anything you said, flying saucer from Area 51, you kind of get. There we go. Like right here is supposed to look like a Polaroid. Oh, you know what? And then they have that Devil's Mountain like that they used in Close Encounters. That real tall cone mountain, which is an actual real mountain. I think it's called Devil's Mountain. Yeah, here it's talking about it, the UFO phenomenon in 1947. And they're talking about the Roswell thing. Claimed it was 52 feet in diameter, craft powered by another type nuclear reactor running on antimatter fuel. Yeah, I don't know if that's, supposed to kind of what he claimed to see or people claim to see. I like the Pegasus, I think it is. Area 51. And it's got like landing gear, all mechanical and heavy. Yeah, that one I'm gonna make look like a real flying saucer. And then I have the two crazy guys in the little sphere glass things. That can kind of be silly. You can kind of make the ships look real, make that kind of real yet silly because there's these big Martians or aliens driving them. See what this looks like with an actual gold top or an actual silver top. Yay! That's giving us an idea what it's going to look like. And then we got decals go around here, and I want to do this one band here. I think I'm going to go into. We used this for the floor. I think I'm going to pop in more in the deep interference green instead of a light green. I really like to get it in more of a blue. Yeah, it looks kind of better if you're seeing the floor there, if that kind of matches. Yeah, so that's what we'll do. It'll probably be a little more sparkly because it'll be, that paint going on top of silver. So on this, we'll have to mask, and then that center ring there, I'm going to do in that color. And then we'll put the decals on and do a clear coat. All right, what I did is went and did the same color, the light green that I did at floor. I did one of the bands around the saucer, so I'm about to take all that off. Got the first row of tape off. If I can find, there is this one. Let's see how it came out. There we go. Can't complain about that. I might want to hit a little bit there where with some of the green. Oh no, that's not bad. Yeah, I think you are the one that's overlapping. That's one thing about the pinstripe tape; it really sticks down. So you definitely want to make sure you have a good adhesion. Oh, that looks great. There we go. I like that. Then we'll have that little antenna there. We'll do. I don't know if we'll do in a chrome or do more in like a darker silver, or like that galvanized tin I have. Not sure. And then we got the decals, which we'll start putting on here next. That way we can put an actual clear coat on this gloss. I think we're gonna go glossy since the rest of the ship is gonna be that plastic glossy. Mm-hmm. There we go. And then I got the post glued in here. I was gonna screw it on, but the post I had with the double threads is just way too tall. So I had this one that was already cut in half, and then I just put a plug in here so it fits in as a plug, and then just epoxied it in there, and it's good to go. And when I'm so that's why I actually built an extra lift there to have something good to crimp down on if it was going to get threaded like this. But so I just built a little cap so it doesn't go all the way through because the hole was made for this to go all the way through and then get threaded, with these two nuts on this end. So then that cap worked good, made a hole so the wirings still come out, and then pre-made a switch and a jack port, and they fit in there nice. So the base is nice. I'll probably think about what I want to do as far as I might just do a little rub and buff And then maybe leave this black. All right, let's decal this. Scissors. What we got here? I don't know if I want to try 3 at a time. Could probably do 2, but 3 would be weird. What we could do that. There's a pair. There's a pair. Get this number. I don't like leaving the numbers because they end up floating onto your decal. All right, let's get a pair of tweezers. Not those. And when I want those, I will never grab them. And we'll get these guys in there. Oop, and I need a paper towel too. We'll just pick one and go. I'm not used to this light being so stable now that I have a nice new desk here. It's actually not that plastic top that would squish with clamps. And after time, the whole thing started leaning like this. I really can't do it at an angle, can we? All right, I think that's it. Just kind of line them up. I don't know if you can see those little indents. It's really just like a line. It's raised lines, 3 of them. They're wanting a stick. I should probably put some soap. I haven't done that. And a little soap helps. That works for me. Yeah, that color goes good with that. This has a little more blue in it. But then you're also, with this being curved, I'm seeing a lot of the gold flake in that green. So that's neat too. You'll get gold highlights. There we go. That makes it not look so boring. Just silver. All right, last 2. Last one. The last one, and I think the last thing for today. Didn't get to work on this that much. I'm working on a Darth Vader helmet for a friend, and it is one of those with the three parts. You got the neck area, and then you got, the normal helmet, actual mask part. This, and then you got the what they call the German helmet part. And we gotta be careful because these decals are brittle. You can once in a while when I'm just tapping it with the razor blade, I hear it like it's breaking through a piece of hard plastic or crunchy clear chip. There we go. Well, that makes a difference. Yeah, now we can clear that, and like I said, that up top gets that little, I guess like a little radar dish or something antenna. I'm not sure what color I'm gonna do it. It'd be kind of neat to do it in like some type of bronze or gold, but I think I'll do it in like a something. I think in something more in the darker color because this silver is quite a bright silver. I don't want to go as dark as like a gunmetal, but maybe that tin, which is kind of a silver without a flake, you know. But yeah, we'll do some tests, and then these are for to put your alien and your soldier guy on, so they stand up. If you want to move them around, I'm not sure if I'm going to move them around or permanently glue them. The one guy goes in a seat. There's a seated one too. But there we go. We'll let that cure, and then tomorrow I'll throw a clear gloss on it.